Hey, everybody.
Hello there.
Welcome to Sex and Science, Season 4, Episode 7.
Yes.
No, and that's 100% fact.
100% fact. No fake news here.
That's factual. We are off of a one-week hiatus after Planet Comic-Con 2018, which was a blast. We'll get into that in a moment here. But first off, we'd like to just take a little bit of time to talk about something that happened yesterday, I guess it was, or yesterday as a recording.
Whoa, is this episode not brought to you by sexnerdsscience.com/audible?
It is. You're 100% correct.
Make sure to check out our Audible link at sexnerdsscience.com/audible for 1 month free trial of Audible and a free audiobook.
Perfect. Well, something happened earlier this week. You probably know about it as of the recording or the listening of this podcast. If you are fans of Kevin Smith, we did get news this morning, Monday, that he did have a heart attack.
The Widowmaker.
Yeah, so he did have a heart attack yesterday, and basically was at a comedy show at a venue doing a show, and during his first show he was having some abnormalities with his body, and he knew his body well enough to go, "Hey, Ed, I don't think this is right."
Canceled the 2 remaining shows and was like, I'm gonna go to the doctor.
And one of his couple of people there called the ambulance, and he went to the doctor, and it turns out he was having a heart attack.
A massive heart attack. Codenamed the Widowmaker,
quote unquote,
from doctors.
Yeah,
because it's usually not one that people survive.
Yeah. So he went on an Instagram post to talk about how he was very thankful to be caught, or thankful that it was caught, and thankful that the doctors were able to save him, and then basically going on to say that he feared death before, but he felt content in the thought of dying, which was scary all in itself, but also, I mean,
do you fear death?
You're holding on to that one, weren't you?
No, I just, once you said like fearing death, I just immediately was like Davy Jones and
yeah.
Barbara, I ran it under a cold tap. Same actor.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yep. So for those of you guys listening, the actor who played Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean was also the same actor who played Sean's stepdad in Shaun of the Dead.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Oh, I'm thinking of you're right. I was thinking of the last movie. Who was that guy in the last movie?
Oh,
the Spanish guy.
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. I was like, that's not the same guy. What are you talking about? But I don't know why I thought that was Davy Jones for whatever reason.
Del Toro. What's his name? Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro. Yeah. So Kevin Smith went on to say, I have a loving family and they love me well, and I'm content. I've done a lot of things. He used the term, I've had a lot of great successes in my life. Why would I be gripey or pissy to, have to pay the bill at some point in time, So, but he was very happy. I mean, obviously he's happy that he's still alive, but very, very happy post after, experiencing a heart attack, which was interesting to me personally.
Yeah, it took me by surprise. I didn't even know that something like this was even possible for him. I mean, I know it's possible, but it's not something that you'd think of.
Well, and there is history of heart failure in his family. His father did die of a heart attack as well. So,
in today's day and age, we should all be living.
Well, that's the surprising part for me is, and it's halfway surprising, is he's been living a healthier lifestyle. He cut out sugar. He's lost countless pounds. I'm sure he's counting. Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was, but all the time he hadn't had good health, but he had 100% blockage of that ventricle valve or atrial. I don't know what's it called. I'm gonna find it here.
It's just the major ventricle in his body. I can't remember the left one. But yeah, that's what they call like the widowmaker when that happens. Now you got me thinking of the Scrubs song where they talk about like the chambers in the heart and how they're buddies. It's from the Scrubs musical.
I said he had 100% blockage of his LAD artery, also known as the widowmaker, because when it goes, you're a goner.
Whenever I think Widowmaker, now I think Overwatch. Dale's not even on this podcast
I know, right?
Talk about, he's like, every time you guys say Widowmaker, that's all I think about. He's going to be editing this and playing Overwatch at the same time.
That's 100% true.
Widowmaker.
So, yeah, we just want to talk about that a little bit. We kind of do a little segment here on celebrity deaths in the beginning, pay homage. But there hasn't, cross our fingers, knock on wood, there hasn't been any hard-hitting news. We're not scouring the obituaries for celebrity deaths, but there hasn't been any large ones as of recent. So that's kind of just some celebrity news. But back over to what we were talking about earlier, before we went to Kevin Smith. We have an Audible link. I'm just kidding. Planet Comic-Con.
People are dying. Listen to our books.
Yeah. Planet Comic-Con 2018. Josh, in one word.
In one word. I'm going to say expensive.
In 5 words.
Oh, come on.
Expensive.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very expensive. No, I can't bring it all down into 5 words. Candid feedback for everybody listening to this. It was a pretty crappy day and a half going into the con. Move day was...
We had a good start. Let's just talk about that real quick. We went.
Yeah. The exact.
So Thursday, we both had Thursday off. So we went and loaded up the car. We did a time lapse. You guys have seen that on our Facebook, I'm sure.
Hope you guys love that video.
I'm
wearing these pants.
Well, yeah, I was wearing my body. I'm maybe these underwear. I don't know. But haven't changed my underwear for a week and a half.
Like, oh, okay, cool.
No, the time lapse video obviously you saw, so we did that, dropped off Teddy to my daughter's daycare, and then went to Charge in Council Bluffs, the first charging point for any great road trip for Josh and I.
Just topping her off with the Tesla supercharger.
Top off at the free electricity.
And while we were topping off at the Tesla supercharger, we wanted to top off our bellies.
That's right.
So we went to
fill up the tanks.
Good old Buffalo Wild Wings,
which I was not aware that they did this promotion, but they are doing their quick lunch break promotion.
15 minutes or it's free.
So Josh and I basically picked off of 12 menu items or whichever they have on the little slip, and they say if you don't get it out in 15 minutes, your meal's free. And it was 19 minutes and 19 seconds.
And we had waters and our meal.
And I tipped 300%. $3.
But
of a $0 bill.
Yeah, because I was just like, we got to give you something.
Is that
no
300%?
No,
it's not.
No,
because it's zero. Right?
Because it's zero. Because if it was like a cent, you would have.
If it was 1 penny, it would have been what?
3,000.
3,000%.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. So I tipped 3 infinite percent. 3 infinite.
He technically tipped infinite percent because it was 0. Yeah. But no, it was an awesome thing. I I really like it because like I was like, dude, like you're not gonna get in trouble for this, right? Like this wasn't your fault. Like we'll totally pay for the food if we need to.
Yeah, that was our worry. Is
Yeah.
that the guy wasn't getting shit canned for not getting us the
Yeah,
food out
or
on
like
time.
he has to pay it
So
or
we
something.
actually did that last Friday, me and Tasha,
Oh yeah.
for lunch, and my meal came out with 12 seconds left, and her meal came out. They brought her meal out afterward when it was ready, and I went, "You motherfuckers!" Because if we weren't on that 15 for 15 or that 15 deal or whatever, they would not have brought the food out at different times.
That's true. And your food is probably easier to make than hers.
I got those tacos again. Those street tacos are great.
Yeah, see,
Street tacos. And she just got wings. I mean, it was literally, I mean, and she didn't like special cook them or do anything. I think she got them extra wet, but her wings were free. Mine wasn't. So whichever. But anyway, so we won.
We started the trip off on a good foot.
On a good foot, and that was the downfall. I would have rather paid the $15 for food.
Because apparently, as of January 01, 2018, the free chargers in Missouri are no longer free, so I had to pay for those. The parking for our hotel went up.
So we thought last year, I'm pretty sure we got a hotel spot with the hotel when we got it.
I know I didn't physically pay for anything when
Well, you paid for your parking spot.
But I parked at the hotel for one day when we got there. And I didn't pay for that spot when we went there. And Dale already had a spot too as well.
Yeah.
Because I got there. Yeah, we all got there like super late at night. I remember that.
Did we move after that to your free parking? Or
not until the next morning.
Huh. I wonder if we just didn't pay. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe we just didn't pay.
Well, and I didn't like valet it either. I mean, I just drove it up there myself.
Yeah, but the self park was even $19.
Yeah. And that's where I was just like, this is like, so I wasn't too keen about that.
No.
We didn't order an extra con badge before the event, and I was trying to work something out to see if we can get it, because I could have sworn we ordered it or not, and
there's no itemized list for Planet Comic-Con's like order fee.
Now, so Dale says there is, but on the receipt that I had, and then when I asked him, like, can I see a breakdown of like the cost? Like, all I see is a total that we paid. Yeah. He was like, it doesn't matter, you know. So I felt a little. I mean, I'm being candid here. I felt a little
worked over
that. You know, we paid almost, you know, like in total over $1,000 to be at that convention, and all we were trying to do was get one badge, and that was just, you know, so we could have Amanda in as well with us, and it just wasn't something that I was excited to. I mean, no one's excited to spend more money, but like the situation, it was like, hey, if you don't want to pay for it, then tell them they can't come in, like with a smile on my face. And that was the weirdest thing that I was just like, okay, like that kind of sounded a little dicky.
There was no empathy. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we're not like asking you to like, you know, cry at our feet or, you know, we're not asking you to let us cry at your feet or anything like that. But like, hey, sorry, I know it sucks, but like you could have at least said, I know it sucks. Not, well, then they're not going to come in and you're fucked. You know,
and I hate complaining without proposing a possible solution. One of the things that I thought would be a really good idea that I was thinking about, if we had some sort of like, and I don't know, listeners, maybe if you guys like this idea, then you can reach out to the cons. But for vendors, people that are going to be there who, you know, we want to be able to say, hey, we're coming to your con. And yes, it's for our benefit, but we also want to, you know, do it for your benefit as well. So we want to be able to say like, hey, we're bringing people to your con. And I think it would be really cool if like we could say, you know, hey, if you click on our Sex-Centered Science link for Planet Comic-Con and you purchase your tickets through that link, a portion of the proceeds go to paying for our booth space, paying for our badges and things like that. Because then that way we can really show a con, like, hey, we're
I,
getting people to come to your show. They're
the
paying for weekend tickets.
and I completely agree with that. I mean, it's basically,
It's a very concise way of showing what value we have
it's
to bring.
what's the, like when you do a sponsor, well, not sponsorships, but like when you do a promo code or whatever, it's basically a promo code for the convention.
Yep.
Um, buy your tickets. It's promotional, but also it's, helps us out.
Because we had 14, 15 people sitting at our booth conversing with us and stuff like that. And those are 15 or so people that we could have reached out to and been like, hey, you're coming to Planet Comic-Con. Can you make sure to go through our link so they know that you're here to also sit and hang out with us?
Which I mean, and that was just people that we knew before the con. There was, I don't know how many people that hopefully would use that type of a scenario or that type of a link,
But I think something like that would at least be able to say, like, hey, like, I understand we're not the Jason Momoas of
mm-hmm.
the con. People aren't going to be paying a lot of money there, but
also I think that exhibitors, that should be like an exhibitor type deal, or even not even an exhibitor, but us, and that's
a promoter type deal.
Yeah, because that's the other thing that Josh and I feel we got kind of shafted on. So we are, or us, or Josh, Dale, and I mean, all of us that the Sex Nerd Science team, we're all part of this media. I mean, we're media. We do reviews of these conventions and of the any number of things we attend, and we kind of got shafted on the press or media end of Comic-Con. Because we got exhibitor space, we weren't held to the same, I guess.
We weren't given, well, I mean,
we weren't given the same
permissions. Press.
Yeah, we weren't given the same permissions as press.
We wanted to, do some press for the convention, but if we wanted to do press, then we're not considered, then we can't get our booth space and have a nice interview area set up.
So that's the thing is, the press people don't pay for their, I mean, we've gotten press at Planet Comic-Con before. We've gotten press badges, our press passes, and we didn't pay for press passes. Those people get passes for free. And we paid for the booth space, and we paid for an extra badge, and still didn't even get the access to celebrity interviews or anything like that. They made us do the footwork to do that. And all of our interviews were because we needed, like we wanted the interviews. We didn't get, time set aside for us.
It was a lot harder at this convention for us to be able to get celebrity guest interviews than at previous conventions, even with the same celebrity guests, which, so it's not like a status symbol, like, oh, this guest was just too big to come to your podcast. It was like the convention and the celebrity guests, there's no communication between like why we're there and what our goal is and how we can do this. It would have been nice to, if next time there's celebrity guests, if we can, maybe have like some possible access to their, like before the con even, to talk to some of their, if not handlers, some of their agents and say, hey, we'd like to have him on the podcast. Here's what we want to do. Because we did have a lot of really good content ideas. We just weren't able to do them because we never got the celebrity guests to the booth at all.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to take our stuff to them because of the new rules with how fast passes work and, what we can do while meeting celebrity guests. So it was a little disheartening to do that. But what we lacked in celebrity guests, we more than made up for it with all you folks listening to the podcast. Just, people that are fans of the podcasts, old fans of the podcasts, new fans of the podcasts, the smiling faces we see every year. It was Saturday afternoon and we were kind of getting a little down. And out of nowhere, just, okay, an interview started happening and another interview, then another one. And Sunday was just nonstop, hey, we
Well,
want to be
and-
on the podcast. Hey, can we have you on the podcast?
Well,
Like,
it was Saturday was like that. Saturday was like, hey, we would like to come sit down. We would like to come sit down. And then Sunday, we basically kicked our butts into high gear and made sure we got content. We got people to come over and talk with us, and
yeah,
that
and we
was
had
nice.
people talking with us the whole time. Like, I don't want to downsize any of that. There were a lot of really awesome people that came and hung out with us, added us on Facebook, and we just were able to talk and discuss. One of the things we did this year that I really liked, we kind of called it cosplay calling.
That
where
was my favorite part of the convention.
where instead of cat calling, we were hollering at cosplayers as they were walking by, just shouting out their costumes, giving them the props that they deserve for some of these awesome things.
Or singing like the best, the Ghostbusters. Hey, listen, all right. Something strange. I'm pretty sure I sang Ghostbusters about a billion times, and Pokemon, actually, ironically.
Yeah. No, I remember you and Dale had a nice little duet for Pokemon.
But so it was just
and by
fun.
nice duet, I mean ear rape.
Whoa. Whoa. We just went to new lengths on that. So out of that, let's kind of mention a couple of people that we may have gotten to sit down with us. You want to do that?
Oh man, no, I didn't have any of that prepared.
Well, so we had Erica with the AFSP come sit down with us and talk with us about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And then, the Out of the Darkness walks that they do for their local chapter. She was very nice. She was dressed as Lucy Liu, Star Trek cat crew member.
Lucille Ball.
Or Lucille Ball. I don't know. What did I say?
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu.
Jesus.
I think I love Lucy. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Lucille Ball and Star Trek. And the interesting story behind that, and that I didn't know, is that Lucille Ball or I Love Lucy got Star Trek on air, I guess, for some I don't know, some weird thing where she told them that she didn't. She told them that something about that she didn't want to follow up another sitcom, so they put the slot in Sci-Fi. She picked I can't remember exactly what it was, but she basically was like, here, pick this one, put this one on TV. And then it went on TV and it became popular. So, and that may be totally wrong. I looked it up that day, but if that's what I remember correctly. And then we talked to Aunt Lucia. Sorry. We talked to Aunt Lucia from the creator of the DC Bombshells lineup, all the statues and comics that are available. And then Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, we had the Heroes Initiative.
It's just the Hero Initiative.
The Hero Initiative. Sorry,
I said Heroes too on that interview. I think
with the worst comic podcast ever. The three men from that podcast.
John, Jerry, and Colin.
Yes.
What?
I don't know. I'm just smiling at the camera, but they can't see me because there's big orange things in my mouth.
So we talked to those guys from the Worst Comic Podcast ever.
We had Abby and Keith stop by. We gave Abby her birthday present,
which we're gonna have to do over the like a Skype session game night.
That's gonna be very hard.
Whatever. They'll just have to hold the thing up.
Hold the thing to us.
And then I think I don't want to say the best, but I think our most meaningful, or I don't know, maybe I don't know, the most relevant.
And if we're forgetting anything, like I don't want to be like.
Well, no, I mean, I think we did like four full hours of interviews.
Oh, I know. Like we've got tons of content.
I mean, and most of our interviews were 15, 20 minutes. So, I mean, I think we got like 20 different interviews.
But yes, we had some other stuff planned.
But Ebony Warrior Studios, Charles from
you almost say Ebenezer.
No, I almost said Ebony Studios.
Oh.
It's Ebony Warrior Studios, and Charles there. He was dressed up as Black Panther, which we had just saw the night before, and we'll come up with that Black Panther review next. But yeah, so I really liked Planet Comic Con this year, as a podcast, for the content and the stuff that we were able to get from it. But
I think it's safe to say that every con we go to just keeps getting better and better because
I think
we keep getting better and better.
Yeah. I mean,
granted, the cons are getting better and better too, don't?
Yeah. I think it's better we think it's better because we get better. And
yeah.
That's what I think maybe that's what you're trying to say. But, got any other things you want to say about it?
I mean, we're very good at learning. We don't make the same mistakes twice.
Oh,
so
we got the new Behringer speaker that we used to do our cosplay calling, and I think that was a smash. I mean, for the most part, it drew a lot of people in, brought people to our booth and everything.
We didn't use nearly as much candy this time.
No. Oh man, but we ate a lot of that candy.
I didn't eat a lot of it actually. Like I was really excited because I had a lot of my Coke Zero that I was drinking throughout most of the convention.
We're not sponsored by Coke.
We are not. I would love to be though. Just me and Dale would go crazy.
Is Sprite a Coca-Cola product?
It is.
I would go crazy too.
See? Yes. There's a lot of
Coke. Any Coke representatives
listening to this podcast? I used to work for you guys. Used to be a merchandiser back in the day.
Man, that was the lamest job you've had.
Oh, it was a fun job. Like it wasn't hard by any means.
I bet it was fun, but I just
also hated the organization for that work position.
Because I did the same thing Josh did for Scooters for like 6 months when Scooters Coffee went into high V's, and the back stock area of those buildings is a fucking shit show.
And if you don't work there every single day,
if you don't
you're going to a new one sometimes.
I know James worked there, and not James McCart, but James, my roommate. And he probably knew where everything was, but man, if you went in there once a week, it felt like stuff got moved so often.
Yeah, it was a pain, and I didn't like they're like super strict about the rules for how long I could work and stuff, but then wouldn't give me help when I needed it, and they were understaffed, and it just that was a terrible job.
Did you do specific stores?
No, I never had my own route. I was always
supplementing.
I was like a filler for there was a guy who was out for 3 weeks. I did his route for 3 weeks. I did another guy's route for 2 weeks. And then before I quit, they're like, hey, we're going to give you your own route. It's going to be the one you normally work. That guy got moved. And I was just like, nope, I don't want to do it.
I don't know.
And getting up super early sucked. I was up at
I bet
3 o'clock in the morning and going to work. I mean, working at the airport, I did that too, though. So I like early mornings. But Coca-Cola sucked. Planet Comic-Con, no.
Yeah.
Back to the real topic here. Even though I was all bitchy before, definitely love the convention. Can't wait till next year.
I mean, it's very smooth. It's smooth because it's been there for a while. Everything there, I never have any problems navigating the convention or anything. They're always pretty good about making sure everything's good. And oh man, you know what I forgot?
What?
I forgot my stupid flyer that the full size poster flyer that they did at the convention floor. I forgot that at the hotel.
Bummer.
Just remember that. Damn. Okay, well anyway, when we were at Planet Comic Con on Thursday night, after we loaded in and
after we moved in, took a nap.
Yeah. And then got up at 9:00 at night and went and saw Black Panther, a premiere night showing of the movie, and it was lit
at the Alamo Draft House in
Yep.
Main Street, Kansas City.
Yeah, it was.
Got a shout out to them because Alamo Draft House is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, they're awesome. I really like that. I like that venue specifically. Their stadium style seating that they had was a lot. I think it's a lot nicer than the seating.
I would have liked a little more space to get by, and also probably reclining chairs. I think honestly, Marcus spoils us. Marcus Theaters is still probably my favorite. Like Marcus Twin Creek is still probably my favorite theater to ever go to.
Yeah, Well, see, Twin Creek's like got the best of both worlds, I think. But I think maybe it's just because it's us. We are in tight with some of those people there, but
No. I mean, it's the overall experience. Like my biggest thing as a bigger guy, if I needed to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of that movie, I'm ruining. I mean, you pick my side, whether I go to the right or go to the left, I'm ruining someone's experience by walking by them. Either my belly's going to be in their food or my ass is going to be in their face.
Or both.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
I guess at the Alamo, because that stadium style seating, they didn't really have any.
It was cramped. I wish if there was a way where I could have ducked under and gone under the main walkway there, I would have done something like that. Would have been nice.
Yeah.
Or if I could somehow get up to where the servers were able to walk, that would have also been nice too.
That's kind of how the Alamo here is it's got those trapezoidal tables so you can leave without having to get in front of people.
I heard the Alamo here is a lot nicer.
Have you not been?
Seating. I have not. I've never been to one at the Alamo. I really want to do a nerd event at the Alamo.
They do $5 Tuesdays. We should go.
We should do it one of these days. Well, I'm not off till 7, but
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's something I enjoy. I love movies.
We'll have to go.
But yeah, it's to me it's an overall.
We can go see 50 Shades of Grey together.
No way.
No way.
No way. Those such dumb movies.
Tasha and I went and saw it on Sunday.
Gross. I hated all those movies. I mean, I've seen 50 Shades, the first one. Honestly, the best thing about 50 Shades was the parody movie that came out with one of the Wayans brothers. Way better.
I didn't know there was a parody movie.
Yeah, I think it's 50 Shades of Black.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Speaking of Black Panther.
That's right. Good transition.
Yeah, right. We went and saw it at the Alamo here in Kansas City on Main Street, and it was brilliant. Even just the experience. If you're not familiar with the Alamo, they do the pre-show runs of basically anything that has to do with the current movie that you're doing. So, I mean, they had
trailers for black movies back in the day.
Shaft. All the black action stars from 1925 to 1968.
They had a silent film way back in the day.
Yeah, and then another set of black action stars from 1968 to current. I mean, basically encompassed at anybody. It was a who's who of black action stars, and people loved it, and I loved it. And then they did a then and now, basically the last 20 years of the Black Panther and animated films, or I guess last 15 years we'll call it. I think they went to 2000, 2002. But they went through the last bit of the time frame for all animated films for Black Panther, and so it was nice. I mean, they did so much stuff for the previews of that show, and then and they had Chadwick Boseman stare you down, tell you not to text and talk. Which I guess is
keep the phone off.
Which is I guess is a thing that they're doing with everything, because on the 50 Shades movie we went and saw,
yeah,
they had this 6'8" Amazonian dominatrix, like screaming at you like she was like.
Did you go see it at the Draft House?
Yeah, we went to Alamo.
Okay, so it's a Draft House promotion probably.
Yeah, so they do that between the or for whatever showings happening.
We haven't said hi to Greg Marcus in a long time.
Well, because he doesn't say it anymore.
He does sometimes.
It's so he's like he starts off and doesn't say hi. I'm Greg Marcus
because we know, but we can still say hi to Greg Marcus at the movie.
So, but he goes, you know what I like? Like he starts off, he's just like, you know what I like about it, and I'm like, he doesn't even leave a spot to say hi, Greg. Anyway, we're diverting. Josh, what did you think of the movie?
I will give it 10 out of 10 claws. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It was really good. I liked I'm gonna give the action scenes. I liked the music, the soundtrack. So something you guys will see in our interview. I think a good soundtrack really ties in the movie. That was one of the things I really liked about, like I mentioned, Luke Cage and the soundtrack for this movie. I actually have it on my phone. It's fantastic. It's a good soundtrack. It was a good movie. And I really liked, I liked the story. I liked the overall, like everything on it. I do at a later time, I want us to talk more about Black Panther, specifically Michael B. Jordan's character. So I don't know. I don't want to get in too much into it now.
Wait, what do you mean? I mean, I
think people are glorifying Killmonger when they shouldn't be.
Oh, so wait, hold on. Okay, that's fine. What you're saying is you don't want to talk about it right now. You want to talk about it later in the podcast.
No, I wanted to talk about it preferably with our Sex Nerd of the Month and Dale and you and me all together on one podcast.
Okay. So I'm gonna give it one heart-shaped fruit out of one heart-shaped fruit.
Heart-shaped fruit?
Yeah. Or was it heart-shaped with a heart-shaped flower? The purple flower.
I didn't know it was heart-shaped.
Yeah. It's
I saw purple flower juice.
Oh. And also that's anti-Semitic.
Purple flower juice?
Oh, that's what you said.
Jeez.
I thought you said something completely different.
It's actually it's Forrest Whitaker tears out of that one eye. Comes out purple.
Shoot, what's the actor that played Black Panther's father?
He had the same thing.
T'Chaka. He had the same.
Forrest Whitaker eye.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if he had if it looked like he had it looked like he had a glass eye.
He might have. I'm sorry. I love Forrest Whitaker as an actor. I'm so sorry. Every time I see him, that's all I know.
Oh, speaking of Forrest Whitaker, they had Ghost Dog trailer prior to the movie, and I had never seen that movie before, but I looked it up and I had a really good set of reviews. But anyway, I didn't know if he had glass eye or not, T'Chaka. But we're gonna kick back over to not Forrest Whitaker and T'Chaka. Chadwick Boseman had a phenomenal amount of room in this movie to grow as a character. We didn't see him very much out of costume in the Avengers movie. So, I mean, I'm glad, obviously it is a movie about him, so I'm glad he had room to move and for his character to develop. But somebody was saying that it didn't even, I think our section of the month didn't even, said he didn't even feel like you needed the other movies to make it work. Like it could have been a standalone Marvel film.
I don't think you would have understood who some of the characters were without it. Martin. Oh, what's his name? Hobbit. Bilbo. I can't think of his name now.
Martin Scorsese.
Not at all. No. So far from.
Martin Sheen.
Nope. That's
Martin Short.
Nope. That would be awesome if Martin Short was in this movie.
Marty
You
McFly.
know who it is.
Martin McFly. I know who it is.
Is this what I think it is? Nope, not. Why the fuck did I pull up Martin Lawrence? Oh my god, that's not who I was.
Anyway, so I think it was a lot of good growth for Chadwick Boseman's character. And then I know that Josh was already hinting at this, but
Martin Freeman, that's who it was.
Oh, you were thinking, that's why you picked Martin Lawrence, because you were thinking Martin Freeman and you thought Morgan Freeman and Martin Lawrence.
Not at all. No. But yeah, you wouldn't know who Everett Ross's character was, or really Claw for the most part.
Well, I was going to say maybe Claw, but where was Martin in the other movie?
He's the head of the CIA in The Winter Soldier.
Oh, I don't remember his character then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was like the main investigator who was trying to clear, well, not trying to clear, who was like trying to capture.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. He was like one of the main guys in Civil War too.
But yeah. So I wanted to talk about him. So I don't know, we're at an impasse right now.
You want to talk about what? Who? Killmonger?
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
This is not a good time to talk. With only two of us on the podcast, it's not a good time.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine.
Get in depth about characters and stuff like that.
So I like Michael B. Jordan. And he's did a great job acting. And we'll have to move on from there because I can't. I mean, I can't do it. I can't do it. Can we talk about his costume?
Sure. His Vegeta inspired costume.
Yeah, that's it. It was inspired by Vegeta.
Just in case you didn't know, the guy who played Claw was also Smeagol in Lord of the Rings.
I knew that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Andy Serkis?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew Andy Serkis was Smeagol.
Talking about all these other like actors are like, what? That was that guy?
Oh, I'm very familiar with Andy Serkis because of Smeagol. Or Gollum.
And what's it called?
Smog.
The ape.
Mighty Joe Young.
No, not the Mighty Joe Young. What? No, Planet of the Apes. Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah.
Was Andy Serkis was Caesar?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. Okay, there we go. That's a good one.
There you go.
Actors you didn't know were in the movie.
That's what we should do. That'll
be our segment.
That should be the new segment. Actors you didn't know were in this movie.
We'll call it like 7 Degrees of Separation. We'll just connect random actors through movies.
Oh my gosh.
Like James Franco and now
I
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
That would be funny. It's his dad, right? I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Oh God, you're the worst.
I know 100%
Actually,
going into this.
I think his dad's name is also Michael Jordan. I think I watched this like a 72 questions deal with him, and I think he's a junior without the junior.
Well, that's probably why they give him the B.
I think so.
Like my
but
uncle,
I don't think he's
not a junior. He just goes by his middle initial too as well.
Yeah. So anyway. I like Michael B. Jordan's character. I like the Killmonger character. I liked the Vegeta inspired costume. It didn't hit me until after, and he
like. Okay, so you like the character. Do you like the message? Is what I'm, I guess, trying to.
The message?
Yeah.
No, but it's classic doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing for the right reasons.
That's fine. That's fine if you can recognize that. I think there's a lot of people that can't recognize that.
No, because
That are
I heard a lot of people saying doing the wrong thing or doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, and I don't think that is accurate. I think his reasons were justified. I think the means he went by getting those reasons were wrong. So it's wrong actions, right reasons.
yeah. I mean, there's.
I don't think. I mean,
It's a tragedy. Like that's the way that you should look at it. At least I think. I mean, it's not dark plagueis the wise, but
yeah.
it's still a tragedy, I think. But I don't think a lot of people are looking at it that way. And I think there's a lot of people who might be inspired by that because he did such a good job and because he did such a likable character. And I'm little worried by that. And that's what I wanted to talk about, but we can talk more about it later.
I don't necessarily think, I liked his character made me hate him. Like, that's why I liked his acting and his character, is because he made me hate him. However, that fucking scene where he gets the throne is in that fucking sweet ass robe that I've been searching all over the internet for, that like long, like just cloth drapes or whatever they were, but they actually had arms and everything.
Drapes?
What? It was just literally.
I don't. Just the way we put it sounded really bad.
Why?
You said cloth drapes, like
it was not like
traditional African.
He was not. That wasn't traditional. That was like a designer sweater.
I don't think we're talking about the same clothing item then.
The black, like the long black, just like solid black, like knit sweater that didn't have a collar or a front. Anyway, it's when he's walking up and that soundtrack that you were talking about earlier is like just heavy beat. And he's just walking up to the throne. He sits on the throne and he like takes a deep sigh breath and he's like, I fucking made it. I'm here. This is my throne.
By the way, did you see Papa Bear's cosplay that he did?
Yeah. M'Baku.
Yeah.
I like that character too.
Reminds me of Vader from Boy Meets World.
But yeah, so I mean, I understand where you're going with the Michael B. Jordan thing and the Killmonger, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. Him and Michael B. Jordan and how pretty he is, and
he's a beautiful man. Good acting.
Yeah, I have liked Michael B. Jordan for a long time, like, but I didn't even know.
Even Fantastic Four, Michael B. Jordan.
I didn't watch it.
Really?
I didn't watch it because
I hated Fantastic Four. It was garbage.
Well, because I knew that it was not gonna, like, everybody had the bad review anyway, and Fox was like, this is a throwaway project and this is just to keep the rights or whatever they excused it for. And so anyway,
Disney bought them anyways.
Yep. So the message that the movie sent:
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. What do you think that's going to do for society? Do you think it will translate for at least a while?
Oh yeah. I think if we sold Make Wakanda Great Again hats that were like black and white, I bet.
With a cat claw on it?
No, just like straight up just Make Wakanda Great Again. Like, it's a movement. Don't get me wrong. Like the
I've seen a lot of
there's a lot of things with this movie. I think it broke 700 million, I think, as of recording this.
We were actually talking, I was talking about that with Tasha. And we talked about a good point. Is I don't want to discredit the number. Okay. So take this with a grain of salt. I heard countless celebrities. I heard of countless black celebrities buying out entire theaters to show the movie to people who would otherwise be unable to see it.
Ticket sales, a ticket sale, honestly.
No, I understand. But, I mean, do you think that skew? I mean, it's got to have some sort of skew in the factor of the number, because I understand a ticket sale is a ticket sale, but we sold all of our tickets when we bought out a theater to separate people. We didn't foot the bill for an entire theater to see on our dime. You know,
I mean,
I think it's
technically we did.
well, we
but
did, we, you know,
because if they wouldn't have shown up, we would have been stuck with that theater.
no, I understand, but that we had.
So here's the thing: whether it's one person buying all those seats, or it's 100 people buying all those seats, it doesn't necessarily.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about for people who would have otherwise been unable to buy the seats.
Yes, this is I think we're still talking about the same thing here.
Okay.
That it doesn't matter, because if it wasn't for that movie and everything that movie stood for, that person wouldn't have gone out and bought all those seats anyways. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
the fact that one person is willing to spend,
it's not, I'm not saying it's the one person. I don't care if for the Avengers, one person bought 1,000 tickets and sold them that way. My thing is those people who would have otherwise been unable to see the movie, we'll call it impoverished areas or whatever, who would not have spent money on those tickets if it had not been Black Panther. Would the numbers, or would, if it, let me restate, if it would not have been for the cause, would it have sold as well?
And I'm saying that doesn't matter because of the cause. Because, like, I mean, the movie is what caused that to happen, not, the actor who bought the tickets for those kids. The movie caused the actor to do that, and therefore the movie earned that money, regardless of how it was done. The actor didn't do that for any other movie.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why. So the movie, by its merits, earned that type of, way to go about getting that number.
I understand, but if I have a very large sum of money and I do a charitable thing, it's no skin off my back to do that. I understand that the movie earned it and it's right, but to say that it blew other movies out of the water for X number of reasons, and I'm not saying that it's the number of celebrities who bought tickets for people who wouldn't have bought tickets otherwise is so astronomically high that it tipped the scale, but it may have put a heavier footprint on the scale than we would have saw. Is why that's.
I'm just thinking that doesn't matter. Like, that, because of the type of movie it was, that's why it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it would not have happened for, I'm trying to think of another movie that recently came out that like La La Land, for instance. Like, it didn't, no one's going to be inspired to buy out an entire theater for La La Land to let impoverished kids to see it. The movie didn't earn that. There was nothing great about La La Land that commanded that. But there was something about Black Panther that, made these people go out and say, I will buy this entire theater out for all these kids to go see this movie because they need to see it. And I think that's the same thing as me going to the inner city, picking up a bus full of people and driving them to a voting booth. Like, it because it's it's the people that you can't say like, oh, those votes they never would have voted if you didn't go out there and get the bus and get them to come out and vote. Like, doesn't matter. Like, I was inspired to do that because of something else. And that's where I think, like, I mean, those numbers, they were well earned regardless.
I'm not saying that they're not well earned or not deserved. What I'm saying is that I don't think that it's in the same category. I don't think that it is.
I mean, I think categorically it is the same thing. If one person buys 1 million tickets or 1 million people go see that show, it's the same thing.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. Whichever. We'll have to move on.
All right. On to giving people stuff for free. I came across an article on Facebook. It was clickbait, but I still wanted to look at it anyways and do some more research on it. Twitch is partnering with a oh man, I can't remember the name. 1KD or
1FD.
1FD.
Or I think it's 1DF maybe.
1DF. But it's
1DF. It stands for Thousand Dreams Fund.
Yes, the Thousand Dreams Fund. They are using money from this to offer grants to female Twitch streamers for Women's Month.
It's the Broadcast Her Grant.
Yep. And so grants can be anywhere from, I believe, $500 to $2,000 a semester, is what they're basically doing. It's not just targeting college females, but it is something that they're doing to promote females gaming.
It is promoted to college females.
But it's not just anybody can get this grant. It does not have to be somebody in college.
No, they have to be enrolled in high school or college.
They don't have to be enrolled in college.
Yes, I'm literally looking at it, Josh.
On their website? Because Brittany just signed up for it today. I'm telling you, you do not have to be enrolled in college. They suggest that you are enrolled in high school or college because those are the people that are going to get the majority of the grants. But this is just a way for a female streamer to be able to get money to either promote their channel, to make their channel bigger or better, but they do not have to be students because they did not want to exclude it to those that could not get into college.
Fair enough. The link you sent me was very inaccurate then. So next time send me the real link.
I sent a link out because I wanted to talk about it. I wanted us to do our own research on it, not just go to one link and take that for granted. Because that's all that link was from the Facebook article, which was clickbait. But I thought it was an awesome idea, especially for Women's Month, to kind of promote this idea of getting more female gamers out there. We've had a female gamer as our sexy nerd of the week back in the day, Savvy Starfruit.
Who's no longer streaming?
She's streaming on Twitch.
I said she stopped.
She stopped for a little while. She started doing a cryptocurrency thing where she was like essentially
Bitcoining.
And but then I think she's still streaming, and she's actually has a pretty loud voice too, because there's a lot of, I don't always agree with everything, but there is a lot of controversy between like attractive female Twitchers that are wearing next to nothing and the girls who aren't doing that. And there is, there's talk there for that. I don't want to necessarily get into that too much because I don't want to tell people what they can or can't do there on their Twitch stream.
I mean, Twitch tells people what they can and can't do, so it's really...
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything against wearing like workout clothes while they're playing versus wearing a hoodie. And I think some of the stuff that's been
I mean,
like attractive Twitchers versus not. I don't think that that's what this grant is about.
no, the grant is not about that.
Yeah, and that's
Though
why
though
I
the
want to
click
highlight that. I don't want to
though
highlight any of the
though
other drama.
the clickbait ad did have some very
Scantily clad.
scantily clad uh, female gamers, we'll call them.
Which is why I read the clickbait article first, is because I thought they were going to be like talking about like that controversy, because it is always fun to read about that. But it had nothing to do with that. And
But so the grants are available for up to $2,000. They're going to give it away per the article that I read. 2 people every academic semester. So that's the information that I was given. So I will have to follow up on it and maybe share a couple different links. But sounds like they're going to do that for something up to I think $10,000 is what that ad was saying too. So
yeah, I think they've got essentially a pool of money to use for that. But it does definitely focus on Twitch girls, and females getting into this predominantly dominated male category. So I thought that was awesome.
I am skeptical though, because I know a lot of big name streamers are females. Like I'm familiar with some lower level streamers. I mean, you get the guys that like PewDiePie and stuff who kind of spearheaded the streaming trend, if you will. But aside from those people who are doing that stuff on YouTube, the people who are predominantly streaming solely on Twitch and not sending their videos to YouTube and stuff are, females. From what I watch, every time I look for Legend of Zelda or Monster Hunter, which is my 2 most recent searches on Twitch, the top 5 are normally females who have the most current views on the active Twitch streams. And that's just my last 3 or 4 weeks of using Twitch. Before that, it was 50-50 or so, but I still have a lot. Any game I've searched, we searched a little bit of Overwatch a couple of weeks ago, and the same thing. So I think it's picking up, but I think maybe to keep them in the space, because some people do it for a small trend here and there, but to keep those gamers in the space, the grant fund from 1,000 Dreams will really help out. So I think that's what their aim is to keep people in the space and not just let them slide under the radar after a little while.
Yeah, I think that's what the grant money is supposed to be used for, kind of, is
and they had said going to gaming conventions and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Go to promote the brand and longevity of the brand.
Yep.
It's not just a stipend to be paid for someone to like quit their job and stream.
Yeah.
Which again is
it's totally
good use of grant money, I think.
If it was something like, okay, with this money I could take an extra day off a week to stream, I think that would be something sufficient for streaming, because it builds regularity. Like if you have if you're in a job if you're on a job on a Saturday night, instead of going to that job, you can spend that time streaming, which is a peak streaming hour or peak streaming time frame, then you're probably more closely able to do that. But anyway, so we'll have to get some more information on that and get back to you there.
Yeah, of course. On other nerdy news that I thought was awesome, this is kind of sexy news as well. John Oliver came back for the new season, I guess they have like a season break in the middle. Lots of shows coming back this weekend, or last weekend technically was John Oliver while we were at con. Just back at it again with awesome news. Last week was on Trump. This week was on European elections, specifically Italy. So it's interesting. I always love what John Oliver does on his show. He they had a pretty good piece on a coal Mongol, essentially, who was suing the last week tonight for slander, I believe, and like that hasn't officially been thrown out, but like the last word they got was that the case was going to be thrown out of court, which was an awesome kind of big win for John Oliver and the gang. Obviously, I think they do some pretty heavy research on what the legality of what the stuff they talk about is and what they can get away with saying, and they really push it right to the limits. But I think it's really good, really good education journalism piece there. And I think the comedic aspect allows them to put kind of a very funny, non-biased twitch to it. So that was really awesome.
Well, I saw, and I know you mentioned Trump a few minutes ago. I listened to this podcast called The Dollop, and they are a history podcast, and basically you would basically tell us or tell me and the listeners about a whole basically piece of American history from start to finish, and or start to current, and they did a piece on Trump and basically his history and all of the things he's done. And it's really interesting. I'll have to send you a link. But yeah, what was you mentioned, I was messaging our section of the month. You said something about a case that's supposed to be settled.
Yeah, against one of the largest coal miner companies in West Virginia, who was like quoted, like he ended up, I think he like wrote it on paychecks.
Who is this?
And said like, "Shut up and dig." Like
on Trump?
No. It was a coal like CEO.
Oh,
I can't remember his name, but they did a special about it last year. And the dude like immediately sued them for it, and then they like they're now getting word that like they're probably going to drop the case. So it was pretty funny because basically they were kind of doing an expose on like how like clean coal doesn't exist and what some of the people that work for the coal industry were doing. And this dude, he was in Bill Nye's new book that I was reading too as well, was mentioned by name.
You're listening to?
Yes. Because I mean he's kind of done a lot of things that kind of weren't necessarily the most ethical things.
Of course.
And I don't think he likes people to know about them. So when people talk about them, he throws the slander word around.
Yeah. I can definitely see where I got mixed up with Trump, because from the Dollop episode I listened to, it sounds exactly like what was going on with him. Did you know he would basically run up a tab for all of his construction work, and he would pay as the job was going, but the final bill he would never pay?
I could see that.
So like he would basically pay somebody like the minimum payment due, and then once they finish the job, he would say, "Oh, the job's not sufficient enough," and he wouldn't pay their end bill.
I mean,
and that's a
very common thing in some of these.
Well, I mean, that basically that's what he's known for.
His MO.
That's his MO. Because literally even the lawyers that he used to sue these companies, or that he used to defend himself against these companies, came out and said that he didn't pay his end bills. He owed $500,000 in back legal fees too, and then he turned around and got a new lawyer and sued them. So like these guys who knew he was not paying the bill were like, "Hey, yeah, he doesn't pay the bill." He sued him because they didn't pay. That was funny. And they settled out of court, and the terms were confidential. Like, what? And the only person who's documented to win one of those cases is one guy who was basically just buying paint for his Mar-a-Lago wholesale and delivering it to him. And when he was like, "Hey, you owe me $38,000," he was like, "No, thanks." And so he had nothing else to lose, so he took him to court, and then he voted for him in the election. The guy voted for him in the election, and then he won. He won the case, and shows Trump had to give him $370,000.
It's a pretty big turnaround.
Yeah,
I'd spend $38,000 to get $300,000 back.
yeah. Well, I mean,
probably wouldn't vote for Trump for that, but
that's what I joked. I was like, he must have bought his vote. But anyway,
speaking of end of the world,
yeah, apocalypse now.
Yeah, The Walking Dead mid-series came back up. This is the final season of The Walking Dead. Lost a great character, and just all around excited to have The Walking Dead back. Excited to see how the series finishes. Really excited to see how things finish. The Walking Dead's been going on for far too long, and I just want to see it done. So can't wait for that. Followed by tonight, as of recording this, there is a new episode of Star Wars Rebels coming out, which also looks to be pretty awesome. This is also the final season of Star Wars Rebels. There's some characters that are supposed to be coming back this season that they only have like 5 more episodes to do so. So really looking forward to seeing how Star Wars Rebels finishes things off. And then I think there's a new animated Star Wars series that's going to be coming out as well. So
Rebels is canon now?
Yes, Rebels is canon. Right. It's on Disney XD.
Man. There needs to be, we need to find what is that, timeline map, or like an
anthology
map.
It exists on Wikipedia.
Is it Wikipedia?
Mm-hmm. I love me some Star Wars.
I want a hard book like my Legend of Zelda anthology. But anyway,
it would be tough. I mean, the thing with Star Wars is a lot of stuff. Yeah, it grows and expands, and we're moving stuff in there. Like Solo's going to fit in before Rebels here probably. And yeah, I mean, Rebels is supposed to end just before Rogue One. So,
and then
Rogue One ends right before the movie starts of episode 4. So
then all the while the prequels are happening before Solo?
Yes, the prequels happen before Solo.
So the prequels, they've got a lot of room between the prequels and the original trilogy.
Yes.
To play with.
I mean, you have 18 plus years.
Yeah.
16 years. I'm trying to think how old Luke Skywalker was.
Well, I mean,
I want to say I thought it was 16 years.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
End of when they meet him on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Under the double sun.
There's lots of double suns in the Star Wars universe. But yeah, some good characters even from the prequels are in Star Wars Rebels. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with them.
Put Jar Jar Binks in there, do they?
No, Jar Jar Binks is in. He's mentioned in the
Clone Wars?
the Star Wars novels for Empire's End.
Gross.
Which also happens. Like that's like the end of book 6 is when you find out what happened to Jar Jar. Or not book 6, but movie 6. Like after that, Empire's End, that whole 3 novels there.
Huh.
But yeah, you get. I mean, it's. I'm really excited. Rebels is awesome. So I mean, just not spoiler alert at all. I mean, Ahsoka Tano is in it. Captain Rex is in it. Captain Wolf's in it. So a couple clone troopers are actually still in it. You get the Ghost, which was featured in Rogue One. Oh man, I can't remember the captain of the Ghost's name. She's a Twi'lek, but she is a captain in this. In Rogue One, she's a general. So something happens there. But you never hear of what happens to Ezra and Kanan, who are two Jedi that are in Star Wars Rebels. You don't necessarily hear anything about them later on. So I'm curious as to what happens to them and how Star Wars Rebels is going to handle that. Probably kill them.
Kill them all.
Unfortunately.
You're the silent killer, Tubby.
And you do technically possibly maybe hear of Ahsoka later on. At least her code name is later on in Rogue One. So
her code name's later on?
Yeah, her code name's Fulcrum, but also Fulcrum is used by another character too, so it might not be
Neo.
No, Fulcrum is the code name.
Lever.
Close.
Do you want to talk about this next bit, or do you want to go straight to the
Let's go straight to the last thing on Science-y news here.
Science-y news. We just
got a quickie update. So one of the things that I thought was awesome while I was in Kansas City, well, it wasn't awesome. On our trip down there, my car broke, so I had to take it to the Tesla repair shop in Kansas City.
Didn't break too astronomically terrible.
No, my door handle stopped working.
Electric mechanism in the handle.
Yeah. So they had to actually replace the entire handle and the electric lock mechanism.
You in the actual handle piece too?
Yep.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, they don't know why, but they just replaced the whole thing. But while we were there, there was a Model 3 that was being picked up by a awesome family that was kind enough to let me and Dale poke our heads in and just touch their car everywhere.
Fingerprints.
Yeah, I was so excited. But the Model 3 looks amazing. And then there was also one that parked next to me at Planet Comic-Con. By the way, I got a flyer for parking at Planet Comic-Con, being in the EV parking, and they're like, "This is for EV parking only, and you need to not park here." And I was just,
is that what that was?
I have a Tesla, you stupid person. Yeah, it was like a flyer being like, in case you didn't know, when a gasoline-powered car parks in an EV parking spot, it's like taking up an entire gas station. And I was like, I have an EV. I'm parked here because I was charging my car off and on, over the weekend. I have an EV. That's why I was parking here.
Yeah.
And
which, by the way,
and I couldn't keep it plugged in because I was getting charged.
I was gonna say, that's what I was gonna say. They charged. Did that ever happen before, or was that because of the changeover?
It was because of the changeover. But the good news is they are building a supercharger at Bartle Hall and one in St. Joe.
No way.
Yep.
Where at Bartle Hall?
Probably in that parking structure there.
Nice.
So there's going to be a supercharge. There's going to be a 2-bay supercharger at Bartle Hall. And then there's going to be a
so you'll just have
one in St. Joe.
You'll just have to buy a regular parking pass and then just
park regularly. And then before I leave, go to the supercharger, plug in, and then drive off. So yeah, that's going to be super awesome. But the Model 3 had its first noticeable car crash. So there's less than 100 on the road right now, or less than 400 on the road right now. And one of them crashed into a vehicle that was stopped, and it was going about 60 miles an hour. Maybe Dale can put in some pictures of the accident. But what happened was the entire front end was smashed. But the driver was able to get out of the car and walk away. So pretty awesome for that to happen. The paramedics on site and the tow truck driver both said, what happened to the driver? Where's he at? And the guy's like, oh, that's me. And they're like, yeah, this usually isn't the type of crash where someone walks away from it, let alone is able to get out of the car.
So is it just a single car accident? Or was it
he rear-ended a car going 60 miles an hour. But that was the thing. I mean,
So they had any any notice of his like autopilot features?
No, he was not on autopilot. He was just driving.
So
failed to stop.
I was gonna say in that event that the nothing takes over for you then, even if
there is an emergency braking thing, but it's not going to. It's meant to make it so you don't like die. And it did its job. Like it applied the brakes as soon as it could. It was just going way too fast.
So he was probably going 60, but actually impacted at like
I'm pretty
30,
sure.
40.
Yeah, I'm assuming what happened was he was probably on the interstate going 60 miles an hour. The car was stopped, and as he was following another car, the car moved out of the way to go into the other lane, and he just rear-ended the car.
Dang.
Which a lot of times that's, you know, in some of the few autopilot accidents, that's what one of the things that happens is like you're going a pretty constant speed and the car moves and then you rear end the car in front of the guy.
Yeah. Yours. Well, I know when we go, you can see it notices a couple cars ahead, right?
It does. But however, if that other car is stopped,
it won't pick it up right away.
It's not going to pick it up right away, especially if there's a car right in front of me.
Yeah.
It would be very tough for my car to pick that up. But I'm assuming some of the newer autopilot software will actually follow a far enough distance away to be able to stop in the event that a car like that would just slam on its brakes or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can also set the car lengths too, right?
Correct. So in fully autonomous mode, I would assume there would be a lot of other fail safes that would have to break before this would.
Yeah. Because yours isn't obviously fully autonomous.
Right? No, I've just got Autopilot 1. But it was very awesome that the driver tweeted pictures out on Twitter to Tesla and to Elon Musk, and then mentioned that when he got into the accident, the glove box couldn't open up anymore because the car's battery was all messed up and you couldn't disengage the glove box. Because on the Model S you can, there's like a latch, but on the Model 3 it's all software. You have to go through the computer to disengage the glove box. And so now Elon Musk said when the car gets into a car accident, it'll automatically disengage the glove box with just a software update. And then also the glass screen in the center, as the car smashed into the thing and the glass broke, the guy alleged that flying glass from the screen cut the back of his hand while he was holding onto the steering wheel. So Elon Musk was like, oh, we'll just have to put like a plastic behind or in front of that. So if it does shatter, it won't shatter and like break. It'll do what a windshield usually does.
So it'll be tempered?
Well, so it'll be tempered, but with like a plastic film, just like our tempered screen protectors are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, but it was interesting to see that this guy like tweeted, and then moments later, Elon Musk tweeted back.
Yeah,
definitely,
we'll take care
problem
of it.
Solved. Which isn't the first time. There's been a lot of times where people have been able to tweet at Elon Musk and be like, hey, this is going wrong. And then like that starts like an entire software update,
or,
to fix cars.
Or he decides that he's going to start a company.
Yeah. Like the Boring Company. Except that was a tweet that Elon Musk tweeted out and then started doing. But yeah,
I thought what kickstarted it was like a reply though.
What?
I thought he tweeted and then somebody was like, yeah, do it. And he was like, okay, fine, I will.
No, he literally was just like stuck in traffic, thought to myself, like, why not dig tunnels? And then later on, he was like thinking of calling the company the Boring Company, because like he was bored when he wrote it. And then like the double entendre. So like,
but also he's boring holes.
Yeah. Also he's boring holes. That's the double entendre. But yeah, so that was kind of it for Science-y news. The Model 3 crash, this kind of being the first major Model 3 crash. The first major Model X crash, when that happened, was also big news for me at least. But it's just, these are the safest cars. Like these people are walking away from accidents that normal customers in non-electric vehicles are not normally walking away from.
Well, so now that for that though, is that that's not solely because it's an electric vehicle. It's
because there was no engine in the front. It was able to replace that with a huge crumple zone. So that huge crumple zone is what stopped the guy from having any injuries in the car. Because normally with a giant engine in front of your car, like you still have the crumple zones built in, but the engine has to go somewhere.
Yeah, no.
So if the engine goes back into the car, usually there's injuries sustained with that, and then people have to get the jaws of life to pull you out. Like this, because there's no engine there, the whole front end is able to just obliterate. Like,
No.
and it looks like the front end of this car is just cut off.
There's high end cars with engines, rear mounted engines that have that. So it's not necessarily an electric car thing.
No, but most, I mean, like they were saying, the paramedics and the tow truck driver are like, usually we're pulling bodies out of these, not talking to the guy standing next to us. Like, so it was an interesting thing. And as we start taking engines out of the front of cars like that, we are in fact making cars safer. So that's just always been something that, if you're in a car with an engine in the back, oftentimes when the car gets hit from the back, then you have times with those cars possibly exploding or catching on fire. Whereas you didn't have that problem with the internal combustion car. In fact, being in the back and getting rear-ended is something that the Tesla has shown, like it can, it had a semi-truck hit the back of the car and then go up onto the back because it didn't crush the back of the car enough to injure the people in the back, because there were kids sitting in the back seat.
You're talking about the rear-facing seats?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of the safest seats in the car in the back seat of that Model S.
Because of the shape of the...
Yeah. The Model 3 doesn't have rear-facing seats, so you don't have to worry. But
the Model 3 doesn't have the capability, right?
No, its trunk is a like a latch. It doesn't have the whole hatchback.
Oh man. Well, hopefully there's not very many more Model 3 accidents or any other Tesla accidents, but with that comes some knowledge. So obviously it's
hopefully if there are, everyone stays safe and doesn't get hurt, and they all have insurance and all the positive things that you can think of for being in a car accident. Like, I hope they continue to learn and do all these wonderful things, and I hope Elon Musk continues to just make changes on the fly like that. Something that I thought was super awesome.
Yeah. Something else that's super awesome is our Sexy Nerd of the Month for March.
Woo!
You may have heard of him from earlier talks, just this podcast. We're going to talk to Charles next week. With Ebony Warrior Studios, and we'll get kind of another secondary take on Black Panther. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it as soon as possible. But he is our 16th of the month. He's done hundreds. Well, he's done hundreds of events, but he's done dozens of cosplays. He's got some really good stuff going on his website or on his Facebook page. But definitely check him out, and then we'll talk to you guys next week on the podcast, and talk with him next week on the podcast
for our spoiler-filled review.
Yeah, because it's gonna be super spoiler heavy. We're gonna talk ups and downs of Black Panther next week. But Josh, anything else you wanted to plug?
Well, you guys know where to find us on Facebook, sexynerdscience.com, SoundCloud, MySpace. Just kidding, we don't have a MySpace anymore. I wish we did. And possibly I've been thinking about doing this whole new social media thing for
talking about Vero?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Vero, guys. Please don't take it if we don't get one before this time.
We just need to do it anyway.
I tried. It's really hard to get an account. I tried to get a personal one, and it sucked. But yeah, so follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We've been posting YouTube videos all the time, so please check those out, because of course we start to utilize YouTube more when all this monetization crap starts going through. So now we can't monetize our YouTube videos, but whatever. Please watch them. We'll talk about it later.
Talked about them, yeah.
But yeah, you can catch us on sexynerdscience.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, and you can help support our podcast at.
You can go to Teespring, buy T-shirts, mugs, stickers, poop-colored shirts with a Sex Nerd Science logo, or you can go to our Patreon that will be released soon. We keep saying that, but we'll figure it out. And then obviously using our sexnerdscience.com/audible for the free trial and free audiobook download for 1 month. Those audio trials or those audible trials are something that's definitely going to help us out, recoup some costs for some what's the word I'm looking for? Expenses, yeah, like the convention that we didn't think we were going to have to pay for that we are having to pay for. So yeah, let us know if you guys want to do anything. We're also looking to get a good weekly segment going, similar to our question of the week, but something that doesn't have to involve you guys because you guys suck at talking back to us.
Whoa. Not everyone sucks at talking back to us.
We just okay, Kyle, you don't suck at talking back to us. But yeah, so let us know if you guys want us to do a specific type of segment, and we'll think about it depending on how cool it is. But also, unless you want a royalty-free segment, then we don't want your thing if you want money.
Yeah,
so,
let us know what's up. What's up? Let's take our shirts off.
You want to take our shirts off?
Where's the party?
You want to dance?
Where do you live?
Him, me, him, me, him. Oh, no, neither of us? Okay. All right, so thanks. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.